Hello there. Yesterday saw the end of the Invercargill by election, a process which was kicked off when earlier this year one of the other councillors stood down from their position after sexual harassment complaints became public. And it's a very good reminder, again, as to why we need to have actual accountability for elected officials in local body positions, because he made that choice, but there was nothing stopping him not making that same choice. But this is not a video about that. This is a video about the election results in Invercargill, because they were quite fascinating. You see, the person who ended up winning, Steve Broad, is a very well-known, well-liked individual. He's a former teacher who's worked down there. He's a radio personality. He did a couple of stints on various competitions around singing. He has a lovely singing voice. And he won with 2,293 votes yesterday. That's what the preliminary results were just after 2 o'clock. And there's still nearly 2,000 votes to be counted, but generally speaking, you'll be looking at a smaller version of that. The next nearest candidate was Graham Lewis with 1,393 votes, and then the third nearest candidate was David Meads, who was one of two candidates that were endorsed by Nobby Clark, the Mayor of Invercargill, and WhatsOnInvers. In fact, David is the only one that they have promoted on their Facebook page, giving him an actual space to say, hey, this is why you should vote for me. Now, earlier in the election process, WhatsOnInvers actually ran an opinion poll where they said the biggest issue facing anybody in Invercargill right now is about co-governance, and they split the candidates down by who supports it and who doesn't. And David won that poll of 293 people. So, incredibly scientific. At the same time, though, the results that we actually saw of the top 5 candidates who we ended up polling well within this by-election, only 2 of them were against co-governance. 3 of them supported it. And that's a really strong message to send to people in power going, look, the majority of voters do not support your stance against co-governance. They understand the need for it. They understand what it is that it represents. It's a very, very big kick in the guts for those people that are trying to fight against it, like Nobby Clark, and like Mike from WhatsOnInvers. Now, one of the other interesting things to take away from this process is that this is not going to be the final election under first past the post for Invercargill. They decided about halfway through July that they were going to continue with that particular voting method, because sometimes the turkey doesn't want to vote for the axe. So if you're in Invercargill and you're looking at what's happening in the next election, which to be fair is a couple of years away, it's really important to know how first past the post works and what you can achieve with it. After all, more people voted against Nobby Clark than voted for him in the last local body election, but he still ended up being the mayor, and that's the process that's going to end up happening again. So well done, Steve. I hope that the numbers stick. You seem like a really nice guy, and I'm pretty sure that the reason that you won was actually down to one really big endorsement. No, not me. This dude, Sean Wallace, the Dark Destroyer. I think that is a brilliant way to get people paying attention to your campaign.